अंशु जी जैसे बता रहे हैं और बहुत सारे लोग और भी बोल रहे हैं, और तो आप क्यों, आप पार्थ, आप पत्रकार हैं, बताइए ये क्यों आप क्यों आपने इनविजिबलाइज कर दिया लोगों को, क्यों आप गांव की इश्यूज पे रिपोर्ट नहीं करते? आप ये आपका मैंने देखा खुद, आप कंगना की रिपोर्टिंग करते रहते हैं सुबह शाम, कंगना रनावत ने क्या कहा है। नहीं नहीं, मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ, ऐसा नहीं। पार्थ बाय द वे इज रामनाथ गोयनका अवार्ड विनर जर्नलिस्ट। सुबह शाम ही इज ऑलवेज इन हिंदुस्तान के किसी एक गांव के में ये होते हैं और वहां की कहानियां बता रहे होते हैं और बहुत जबरदस्त ये पत्रकारिता करते हैं। तो पार्थ जी बताइए कि आप मुझे बताइए, दो सवाल मेरे आपके लिए। एक, जैसे सीमा पाठक जी ने कहा कि भाई किसी के पास स्मार्टफोन था ही नहीं। आप कितने सारे गांव गए हैं, आपने क्या देखा इन गांव में, जहां तक डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी का सवाल है या डिजिटल से कोई ब्रिज क्रिएट करने का सवाल है, या डिजिटल से कि डिजिटल एक ऐसी चीज है जिसके हम कोई सरकारी सर्विस एक्सेस कर लेंगे, इसकी असलियत क्या है, नंबर वन। और नंबर टू कि ये पत्रकारिता का इसमें क्या रोल है, पत्रकारिता क्यों नहीं बात कर रही है और ज्यादा वो जो चल के गए लोग, उनकी बात पत्रकारिता क्यों नहीं कर रही है? ये जो सीमा जी हमको बता रही है कि 1,000 रुपया मिलता है महीने का, और कभी कभी वो भी नहीं मिलता है, अगर मैं गलत तो नहीं कह रहा हूँ सीमा जी?
नहीं सर, उनको तो प्रोत्साहित जो अप्रैल मई जून में जो किया गया है कोरोना के
जी।
टाइम में, तो 1,000 सरकार की तरफ से किया गया और 2,000 उन लोग को मिलता था पहले से, तो लगभग 3,000 उन लोग को मिल रहा है।
तो बताइए पार जी, फिर ये सारी बातें हमारे देश के डिस्कोर्स के सेंटर में क्यों नहीं है?
First of all, thank you. Digital India की बात करूंगा. I remember in 2019 I had done a series on public schools in Maharashtra. This is well before COVID or lockdown or any of that. Uh, any of these things happened, and I was in one of the remote villages in Usmanabad, looking at visiting one of the Jilla Parishad schools. तो वहाँ पे हुआ ये था कि जिस दिन मैं गया वहाँ, coincidentally उसी दिन उस स्कूल को they had received like two very nice slick looking LED TV sets. Okay, उस दिन उनको टीवी मिले थे, किसी ने डोनेट किए थे. तो वो टीवी sets, they were being mounted on the classrooms of that school, except there was a problem. The problem was that the school had been functioning without electricity for 2 years before that. तो ऐसे हमारे महाराष्ट्र में there are thousands of schools that have not been able to pay their electricity bills, and that were functioning without electricity for 2 years. Students have been studying there in classes, but the ceiling fan over their head doesn't work. The infrastructure is dilapidated, and even some of the schools don't have functioning toilets. तो जब ये लॉकडाउन हुआ and when people started talking about online education and digital India and so on and so forth, I thought let's just drive down. I live in Bombay, this big booming financial capital of India. I thought I'll just drive down 100 kilometers to Palghar, one of the densely populated tribal districts in Maharashtra. तो मैं गया पालघर और वहाँ पे कुछ बच्चों से मिला, पेरेंट्स से मिला. तो ये ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन के बारे में जब मैं रिपोर्टिंग कर रहा था, so I realized there are three problems mainly. एक तो इंटरनेट नहीं है, दूसरी बात इंटरनेट अगर मिला भी तो स्मार्टफोन्स नहीं है, because most of the people who live in Palghar or in other remote places in India, they work as laborers, migrant workers, get 250-300 rupees a day. So even a mobile phone that costs like 7,500 or 10,000 rupees is bought on installments. और तीसरी बात, ये जो ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन जो घर से काम करने की अटेंड करने की जो बात हम कहते हैं, a lot of it depends on the active participation of parents who can't afford to stay at home because they have to make up for their lost wages after the lockdown, and they themselves haven't been educated as much to keep an eye on their kids. So parents, when I spoke to them, they told me कि अगर बताया भी गया कि बच्चों पे नजर रखनी है, तो I wouldn't know if my child is actually attending a class or not attending a class. So after these three problems, I spoke to a few teachers, and one teacher put it very beautifully. He said there was always a digital divide in India. With the lockdown and online education, there will be a digital partition, and it's hard to imagine how else it would have happened, because I'm reading out some numbers. And they say that even just 18.5% of rural households in Maharashtra has any internet facility. 1 in 6 people in rural Maharashtra had the ability to use internet. Among women, that number was 1 in 11. That 1 in 7 people in rural Maharashtra had been able to use the
The
internet.
ability to use internet.
Yes, 1 in 11 women had the ability to use internet. 1 in 7 people in rural Maharashtra had been able to use internet 30 days before the survey, and for women, that number further dwindled to 1 in 12. Now, these are numbers, nobody's whispered them in my ears. This is the National Sample Survey. Uh, Everybody is aware of these numbers. Yet, we talk about online education, knowing how the situation is, what the digital divide is, and it basically tells us how these certain sections of the society, the Adivasis, Dalits, the non-dominant OBCs, farmers, laborers, they have not been in our conscience at all. And what we see after lockdown is basically a manifestation of the apathy and indifference with which we have treated them before lockdown. And it's similar to migrant workers, right? 25 March ko subah hum uthe and we realized, oh my God, there are so many migrant workers in our cities. We realized that they exist when they started leaving our cities. But the fact is, for years before that, they've been exploited they've been exploited with impunity. They work too hard for too little money, and we have been okay with it because we are the ones who have benefited from that lopsided social contract. They've been our army of cheap labor of sorts, right? So this is what's happened. Even when it comes to schools and those who study in Jilla Parishad schools where internet facility is virtually non-existent, that there's been absolutely no concern for students studying in Jilla Parishad schools. So after lockdown, you're just basically going through with that same mindset. It's nothing. So my point is, since we didn't care about them before lockdown, after lockdown, it doesn't surprise me that they don't feature in our planning post lockdown.
And the second part about journalism's role in this.
Journalism is, I mean, it's. I've always felt that media, mainstream media, lawmakers, and the society are by and large reflections of each other. They mirror each other in some way or the other, and I mean, it's the apathy and the indifference is reflected in our civil society, among our lawmakers, and also in our media. So because the media channels that are, or the mainstream newspapers are run by upper class people who have benefited from this lopsided social contract, who have had an army of cheap labor at their disposal, we've not bothered to rock the boat. After lockdown, what happened was the crisis of migrant workers become so grim that we were kind of shamed into covering the migrant workers crisis, right? So the problem, I thought, with the coverage of migrant workers after lockdown was that it reduced their plight to the lockdown, basically suggesting that they were fine before the lockdown. And now that the exodus has ended, they've disappeared from our TV screen because now that they've gotten back to their home, so everything is fine. They're not on the road anymore. The problem is, I visited Palghar just a few weeks back actually, and Palghar is home to so many migrant workers who come to Bhiwandi, Thane, Mumbai, work at construction sites and at brick kilns. They've been struggling to feed their kids. They have the Palghar has been a district that's been struggling with malnutrition for a while, and after lockdown, malnutrition has in fact increased in Palghar. How many mainstream media channels actually bothered about that? Because there is this profound apathy with which we have treated migrant workers. We thought that once they are back home, they'll be fine. And now that they are, and before they had started leaving our cities, they were absolutely fine. Migrant workers crisis didn't start with the exodus and didn't end with the end of the exodus. And that's something most people haven't been able to fathom, to be honest.